how did Dr. Coakley bribe you guys to see him at 7:30 in the morning? That's too bright for anybody. Well, we don't have anything dim, just a dim.
We don't have a dimmer.
Well, let's just turn it on. Can you guys see it if the lights are on? You guys see it well enough? Okay, let's do it. Just keep it like that. Can you see back there, Doc?
Yeah. Thank you.
I wanted to talk to you guys. I started thinking about some topics that are really universal. And I know you guys, some of you are probably wanting to be teachers, some of you want to be trainers, and others of you are just in here just out of general interest for physical activity and education. And so I want to talk to you guys today about motivation and goal setting, because regardless of what career path you guys end up taking, this is a key element to what you guys are going to be doing, whether you're working with clients on an individual basis or you're pushing classes to accomplish certain things. And goal setting is really a building block, and as you can see, a building block to success or to motivation to whatever you guys really want to accomplish. So just show of hands, who in here is looking to be a teacher, PE teachers or coach? Okay, good. So you guys are all on a track to stay in the fitness industry. And my background is in sport and exercise psychology, so we work a lot with athletes, especially at the elite level, on how to really motivate and elevate your game. And one of the essential pieces to that is knowing where you want to be. Because until you know where you want to get, you can't get there, and you can't set up an action plan to really get you to where you want to be. First of all, goals are essential to both an individual component to participation and performance, but also on the team level. If you guys think about it, what happens in a team setting if everybody has individual goals? How does that add to the experience?
Negatively.
Okay, how negatively?
Because then everyone's just worried about reaching their own goals. Like, say someone wants to score 200 points,
Okay,
then they're going to score 200 points and
Sure.
not really care about anyone else.
great. So you might butt heads a little bit, right? Everybody's out for themselves. Anybody been on a team like that before? A little competitive, sort of. Okay. What else is a positive aspect of individual goal setting?
It's make some contractual goals that you have.
Okay, good. So you have some motivation, right? You're pushing yourself, and hopefully if everybody pushes individually, then the team will elevate their performance. But what's essential is that you have individual and team goals, so that all those individual goals can add up and collectively you're moving in the same direction. So you have to have both. And goal setting is a great way to really integrate and create cohesion between the individuals on a team and what the team's trying to accomplish. It also helps you develop a plan of action. Like I said, you got your goals, now how are we going to get there? And that's where a coach usually comes in, right? So you guys would come in, maybe you have your team, your players are setting the goals, but then as the coach or as the teacher, you come in and you say, okay, this is how we're going to get there. This is our game plan. Here are the fundamentals, right? Setting up plays, if it's basketball, right? Developing a strategy, all right? Also, when you set goals, you also have that satisfaction of striving for something. You're pushing, you're constantly motivating yourself. And what's a benefit of not meeting a goal? Is there anything there?
Keeps you motivated.
Okay, motivated to do what?
Try a different way to achieve
Great,
that goal.
great. So you try, you push, and maybe you don't get there that time. But through that failure, you can adapt, you can reevaluate, and you can look at yourself and you can say, okay, what's not working here? Why am I not getting there? Am I not training hard enough? Am I setting my expectations too high? Maybe I'm unrealistic with what I want. So what I want to talk to you guys today about is how to set effective goals. And then we're going to look at a framework based on some research and some experience that can show you some ways to actually create a really nice game plan for yourself. SMART goals, that is one of the most effective principles in goal setting, the most well-researched, most founded. And what it stands for, and we'll go through each of these specifically, but the S is for specific. So somebody throw out a goal for me. Think of a sport situation. What might be a goal for a team in the span of a season?
To go above 500.
Okay, great. We want to break 500. We want to have more wins than losses this year. Would you guys say that is a specific goal? Okay, good, you have a numerical, an empirical value you're shooting for. You can look at that and you can say whether or not you met that goal, and you can know for sure. It needs to be measurable. Okay, again, great example. You can measure that. An example of a goal that you can't necessarily measure might be what?
Have a positive attitude.
Okay, great. A little bit less concrete. I want to have a positive attitude. Well, how do you define that? How can you put a numerical value on that? It's a little more difficult. So when you're talking about an exercise or sport goal, especially if you look at a personal training situation, somebody says, I want to lose weight. Okay? That's a great goal. I mean, everybody has something that they're striving for, but how much weight? How long are you going to take to get to your goal? How are you going to measure whether you lost the weight? Okay, a more specific and measurable goal might be, I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of next month. All right? So make sure it's specific, make sure it's measurable, attainable. Attainable refers to the resources available to you. If you say, I want to run a mile on the treadmill every morning, all right? But you don't have a treadmill, okay, or a gym membership. So the resources available to you make that goal unattainable at this moment. So whatever goals you set, you need to make sure that you have the resources that you need to actually be able to do that. Okay, questions there? Unattainable? Okay. And reasonable. People use different words for this R. They say relevant, they say realistic, reasonable. Basically, this really refers to the time frame that you're setting this goal in. So, for instance, if you go back to your running example, I want to run a mile, I want to drop a minute off my mile by the end of the season. All right, well, the season ends next week. Is that reasonable? Okay, you're setting yourself up for failure. So it has to be attainable in terms of the resources. It also has to be reasonable in terms of how long you're giving yourself to meet that goal. And the last one is timely. And timely really refers to setting short and long-term goals. What's the benefit of having short-term goals?
It can lead up to long, that could be a part of a long-term goal.
Good. How so?
I mean, let's say you were 400 running track,
Okay.
and your goal overall is to break a 48 seconds.
Right.
And let's say like each training you get closer and closer to that, so you kind of like building up. So statistically, you're saying that you're progressing or whatever, like as far as dropping time. So.
Perfect. Gold star for the day. No, that's exactly right. You have to stair step it. Right? Because again, we talked about reevaluating. If you're looking at a 6-month goal and you're not measuring progressively and you get to that 4th or 5th month and you're way behind where you need to be to get to your final outcome goal, then you can reassess. If your time is not incrementally decreasing fast enough, then maybe you need to reassess how you're training. Maybe you need to reassess your ability level. Maybe that's just not reasonable right now for you to hit that 4.8 mark, okay? So you want to make sure that you're stair-stepping, and so we'll look at this stair-step method, and I'm sorry, can y'all see that bottom one for that table? But basically, short-term goals leading up to a long-term goal, so that you can create that evaluation process, and you don't set yourself up for failure here with your long-term goal. So here I've got, for a short-term goal, lose the ball no more than 3 times this game. That's an immediate short-term goal. So I'm working on my turnovers. I want to make sure I'm not losing that ball more than 3 times in a game. In order to do that, I want to work on my ball handling skills for 30 minutes every day. Okay? And eventually, I'm going to decrease my average turnovers by 2 for the whole season. So you've got this long-term goal you're shooting for, and if you continuously monitor those other 2 variables, then you're going to hit that mark. Okay?